Member for Calgary Glenmore.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Premier has insisted that there would be no tax hikes on his watch, but the spending increases of this government has left us in a terrible fiscal shape. Last week, the outgoing Premier touted his Economic Council's report, which refers at least 5 times to the need to raise taxes in order to cover spending. Given that this administration has blown $45 billion in royalties in 5 budgets and is still running a deficit, it's true that taxes or spending must change. To the Finance Minister, when will you admit that you plan to raise taxes to cover your reckless spending?
The Honourable Minister.
Well, if this were a library, that would be the fiction department, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have invested in Alberta $50 billion in infrastructure. We have built and are running one of the best healthcare systems, one of the best education systems. We provide for our seniors like no other province. If the honourable member says that's wasting money, then he needs to stand up and tell them that.
The honourable member.
Well, it's not the library. This is our budget we're talking about. Given that program spending, not capital, just programs, increased 32% in your first 4 years, or nearly $10 billion annual, and given that you will have nearly vaporized the sustainability fund by the end of the year, when will you tell Albertans that tax increases will be necessary to cover your opulent, nation-leading spending?
The Honourable Minister.
I guess he's been very busy. Probably too busy to review the budgets over the last few years that I've been with the Treasury. Mr. Speaker, our spending is below inflation, and it has been reprioritized to priority areas like health, like seniors, like education, and doing what most of the world says is the right thing to do, continuing to build infrastructure right now because we're going to need it in the future.
Well, given that your government has increased its unfunded pension liabilities from $5.5 to $10 billion, and given that your program spending increases have put us in a structural deficit unless bailed out by record oil prices every year, why do you deny that this government has mismanaged our finances so badly that we are now racing down the deficit highway, not unlike the fiscal mess that you were in 20 years ago?
The Honourable Minister.
Because, Mr. Speaker, it's simply not true. The financial statements of the province are considered the gold standard in Canada. The Auditor General goes through the statements and they are held up to the level of any other province. Our debt and our assets are all stated in the consolidated financial statements, Mr. Speaker, and in the budget. If they can't read a budget, that's not my fault.